Hey, how's it going? I'm having a little trouble with my setup today, but before I get started, please look at my signs. Whoa. Okay, that's never happened before. Okay, so, I tried to get the stuff in position before I started, and everything is deciding it has to have some input in terms of its location, and now is not the time. Stay up there where I put you, please. Okay, so, I pulled two cards. I pulled one from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, and it was number 25, Fortune's Wheel, Luck and Right Timing. It looks like a kind of shield, but it also kind of, because it's a wheel, I want to say that it rotates, that this particular shield looking thing rotates. And if you look at it, it has, well, that looks like wicker. But if you watch like, I don't even know if this channel still exists, but like the military channel or something of that nature on YouTube, there was a time where armor and shields were made of woven fiber stuff. So it would be ancient, because it's not gonna stop like a bullet, but for whatever munitions they had at the time that they were using woven fiber for armor and shields, that probably was equal to whatever they had going on. I have talked about this particular illustration before, looking like this one game that you can play online, like one of those game store, annoying phone games. And it's a wheel, and the object of the game is for the player to throw knives and hit things that are on the wheel that is turning. And it always reminds me of that. It does not in the game have like the sun behind it or whatever's happening there. I don't know, like, is the wicker on fire on the other side? That's probably not what it is. But what is it? Well, the subtitle on here is Luck and Right Timing. That could just be like how it looks when things are going well, like brightness and positivity, like it doesn't suck to win. Right? I just noticed another something on here, and it's funny that I was talking about it rotating, because, well, there's a pair of wings on there. No, like, let me make sure of this before I start talking. I was going to say that they don't seem to be attached to any particular beast, like a bird or whatever else would have, like an insect. It's almost like an emblem, like the Red Wing boot emblem almost. Except on here, at the center, where an axis would be, so this thing could ride on it and turn, or like, an axis and axle. Look at that little hole there. I see wings, right? It's pretty clearly wings. Do you see any, like, animal that it's attached to? No! I'm not upset. I don't know why it came out like that. I don't see anything like it, though. So, I don't know what the wings are for. Or do they create the spin by making air the spin of the wheel? I don't know. Let's just pin that and read from the guidebook. Fortune's Wheel. Okay, let's get our vocal register under control. Okay, no need to be. I'm like all over. I'm squawking. I'm screeching. Let's get this under control. Okay. Fortune's wheel, luck and right timing. A turn of fortune. The wheel. The wheel just has to be spinning, I guess. Like it's a motif, like crazy. The fortune's wheel is a sign that luck has found the right timing in your life. You have the magic touch and everything turns to gold. There is nothing you can do wrong. You only need to hold on to what you desire as your intention and it becomes true. Okay, I'm just going to interrupt myself here to say that there is something to that, because as far as like the big hot thing right now everywhere, manifestation, no matter how you define it, it is everywhere. It's being employed everywhere in some kind of way. It's popular. But also what it means. And also, it is a time right now where if you are in a receptive state, or, I mean, you can't just, I don't think, go from zero knowledge about the whole manifestation word and spectrum of things that it covers, like I was saying, just cold from nothing. I mean, unless you're some kind of like what do they call those people that are idiots? Oh, savant. I don't think they use the idiot part anymore, but it made me remember the antiquated term. But right now, I'm not sure how to term this. I guess like atmospherically, it's a good time to be manifesting things and like getting what you want, and with the idea in mind that you're probably not going to start from zero and then magically become like the recipient of a treasure chest full of gold coins. There's a process, like you got to get yourself into the right spiritual state of mind. And that takes all kinds of like internal work, it's not like, I mean, it's almost like you got to do like psychological work on yourself, and we do it all the time. We totally pick ourselves apart and examine ourselves, so we know how to do it. And we also know what's right and wrong with us. But will we admit the truth to ourselves? I think that's an issue that we kind of all have it's like something that we need to learn how to surmount, because it gets in our way. But you don't necessarily have to have like the certificate about manifestation in all of its magnitude to make it happen in your life. But that also takes like a certain breed. It's not going to be everyone with their head full of cultural noise and concerns about like who's on what team or whatever thing that could be used as a divider, basically something to put between a person inclined to do this and anyone else for whatever reason, because we are so complex. Who knows what caused this person to have to need a wall? Not even gonna try to figure out what the rhetorical person's problem is. I'm just saying it could be a thing like that. So I mean, either way, it takes like some sort of processing to be able to work the manifesting. Right now, though, like I started to say, atmospherically, spiritually, it's a good time for it. Like you might be able to get like a contact high off of people that are actively, consciously manifesting because they've taken the steps and they know what they're doing and they have the focus in the right way to make the desired effect come into being. Wish it and then there it is eventually, or quickly, depending on how much work you've put in, or reference what I said before. So just want to throw that out there. It's like you don't have to be special. You might have to work at it, but like anybody can manifest, I guess is my point. And now's the time to do it, also my point. You only see... Oh, I already read that. Do not waste this power on trifling things. Dream big, for surely this opportune moment will pass. Such is the nature of fortune's wheel. Well, I mean, if the thing is rotating, it's only going to be on the, like at the top, there's going to be like a thing where, like, it'll slow it down and eventually stop it and you'll land on... This wheel doesn't have it, but if you've seen a game show, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like, Wheel of Fortune has such a thing, but it's not up like this. It's horizontal. Is that making sense? Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, the nature of a wheel spin means it's going to pass a bunch of stuff, it's going to eventually stop, and then eventually it's going to move again. So the constant is temporary, if that makes any sense. Use the creative power of the fortune's wheel for the benefit of others, and the gifts will be returned to you tenfold. Okay, I have something to say about that too. Giving, like donating or, volunteering or just helping someone you come upon that needs help in the moment, and you can, and so you do, because it's like the right thing to do. Because I want to be clear about this, it's the right thing to do because you might need help sometime, and so you're banking that good fortune, like you can pretty much count on the fact that you did something to help somebody one time, and when your ticket comes up, when the wheel stops on your number and you need help, fortune is gonna, because you did the work, allow something to fall into place that will help you. And if that sounds like magic, it is. That's kind of the way it works. Brief sidetrack. Our world really is magic and unbelievable and miraculous. We have just been conditioned to believe that it's unbelievable, that it couldn't possibly be. And yet, would you not say something in your life has happened one time that you shouldn't have? Like it would seem impossible right before it wasn't, and then it was like magnificent beyond what you could even have imagined beforehand. Have you not had at least one instance in your life where something like that has happened? And if you can say no, have you not heard of someone else having that? Maybe several someones. Okay, so use it only for your own gain, and you will be left impoverished and with the bitter taste of a squandered opportunity. I could comment on that, but I'm just gonna let that pass. It's too much. Fortune's wheel comes unannounced. Notice the early signs, the coincidental encounters, the magical moments leading up to something you might like. If you clock them, if you note the magical moments, the coincidences, seeming coincidences, Don't question them, just go, oh wow, and let the magic progress. Don't question it. Don't say, I can't believe that, because then the magic will think, oh, you don't believe in me, and go away. That is really a thing. Sounds crazy, but I promise you, if you tell yourself negative things, do you not become negative? Do you not start to believe yourself? Do bad things not start to, like, manifest because that's what you've been talking about and that's what you're thinking about? Kind of how it works. That call, that email, that invitation, that chance encounter was no accident. They were all choreographed by fortune. What I just said. That's kind of how it works. Do not wait any longer. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Recall your boldest and noblest longing and invite it into your life. That I can't believe this could ever possibly happen to me thing, but you really want it. Delete the part about how it can't possibly happen, or at least delete the can. Just go with it can possibly happen, or even get rid of the possibly too and just say it's happening. It has happened. That's, I would posit, part of your manifestation recipe, set of instructions, manual, guidebook, steps. Take your pick. I would say that it's definitely a part of the technique to manifest, I guess. Recall, okay, I already said that. This invitation is all that is required. So if that doesn't make sense, let me repeat that last bit. Do not wait any longer. Carpe diem. Recall your boldest and noblest longing and invite it into your life. No matter how unbelievable it might seem, you better start believing it if you want it. The invitation is all that is required. Start the process. The invitation is, I want this to happen. I want this thing to come into being. You're off and running. The other card I pulled was from the Animal Spirit deck. And it is the Lizard card. And I'm not going to read from the book about this one because it was pretty clear what the message was when I pulled it. It is... I had something to say and I didn't start off with it and I was going to keep it separate, but I wonder if I shouldn't just talk about it while I'm talking about this too. And I've already kind of talked about it, like the cards did the thing again. I pulled these like basically yesterday. It's like that early, and I got to it so much later that it became yesterday. But it's still like is all coming together. So what I was saying about it being a time of ripeness, atmospherically and spiritually, to manifest if you are so inclined. This guy, I'm gonna always associate a lizard with like ancient knowledge comes to mind, but also disposition, because when you get old enough, you're just not as excitable and reactive as you are when you're young. I'm still waiting for that part to start happening. But, I mean, if you kind of observe the qualities of a lizard, or if you've ever, like, looked at one, and when I say if you've ever looked at one, I mean, have you ever, like, seen one somewhere just doing lizard stuff outside, and you have the opportunity to just sit there and watch it sitting there doing whatever it does? What you will notice, or if you can see them on television even, they will sit in one place for a long ass time and not move. And It's like they don't even need to. They're completely content to just sit there for hours, however long. And, they might be hunting in their way, like they probably operate on lizard time. And a lot of things I feel like could make such a thing be. Like, lizard time is... You ever seen a clock? You ever seen a lizard with a clock or a watch? No, it's not a lizard thing. That's a human thing. It's a human construct. The lizard goes by lizard time, but natural time, like earth time, like nature time, sun up, sun down, winter, spring, lifespan. Every animal is different. But the lizard, they can do things like get so still and motionless and even go into like a vegetative state almost. Like they can do that thing where they slow down and they seem like they're almost dead, or they seem like they're dead, but they're really not. They've just like downshifted everything so much that they're, I don't know, catatonic, partially mummified. I don't know, on pause. What do you call it? And like, but they can move really fast suddenly if they want to. I mean, if you move them out of their stillness, startling them or scaring them, making them fear for their life or something like that for some reason, then they'll start moving real fast. But like an alligator, for most of my life, like decades and decades, I thought that they were kind of slow moving, and then here comes YouTube and all kinds of stuff where alligators are filmed that you can watch, and if they want to, they can move really fast. So can these guys. But they have a certain quality to them where, like, even the excitement or the startled is momentary, and then they know it's going to be over. They can lose part of their tail, and it probably hurts and it probably pisses them off, but they can just run off knowing, like, crap, that was a good tip of my tail for thank you for your service. You little... I think a child did it in my imagining. Little terrible Toy Story boy. And now it's bad. It has to go off and go into like a hibernative state. Hibernative? Is that a word? And maybe in that way conserve most of its energy so it can grow its dang tail back. I don't know if that's how it works. That's just what I'm feeling. But once the initial pain and irritation at the incident, at the perpetrator, has moved into the past, they're like, okay, now I'm on a completely different page. Like everything changed and they just moved into it. They're not like sitting around writing a manifesto, making plans to go back and get revenge. It's not necessary, because they understand that that's how life happens sometimes. Like, they don't have a bunch of psychological excuses. They don't have like pop psychologists and influencers. It just is what it is. Like, no fluff. So, because of this attitude, they can take advantage of manifesting probably pretty easily, because they are, I would say, the equivalent of an old soul. What we humans are calling in the spiritual world an old soul. That's what they are symbolically and, like, truly, I think. So, I know, here's the part where I talk. I know that, like, right now, all of the kind of stuff that I pay attention to, like psychics and astrologers and channelers of ETs who are part of the whole everything, like part of God's creation, don't get all weird about it, and famous dead people, and whatever source I come across, there has been a trend where it's like now is the time, like something is happening, like there is sort of a feeling of anticipation. There are a lot of tipping points in the works, and I think we can all feel that. And I think it's that climate that sort of created the fertility for manifestation, especially with intention. So, like, get your goodies, like, now's the time. Direct those thoughts and don't make it all about yourself. To sum up what was going on in my head in those faces, make it more about other people, and yourself will be taken care of. Thank you. So, okay, I'm done. Thank you and good night.